welcome students to another session in the series Digital Marketing. I hope you are enjoying whatever we have learned so far and looking forward to many more interesting things that we are going to learn about digital marketing. In this session, we will be talking about digital strategy phase. As we do it every session, let us quickly recall as to what we discussed in the previous one. So, we had a discussion on how digital marketing can be applied by different firms and had a discussion about 3 scenarios where firms can apply digital marketing. The brands that are already well established also can reap benefits of digital marketing. Brands that are not that well established can again look at digital marketing to realize some of their objectives in a more effective manner, and digital marketing can again be used by new brands that are yet to be developed. In the same session, we also discussed about the digital marketing framework known by the acronym SCORE, where the 5 letters represent 5 different stages of digital marketing framework, starting from assessment stage, strategy stage, channel and communication mix, operations and refinement. We started with the assessment stage where we discussed the role of internal analysis, external analysis, digital presence analysis and objective development and review. I am taking the session forward by continuing with the SCORE framework, where today we would learn about strategy phase. The second phase of the SCORE framework relates with development of a digital strategy. So, when we talk about the strategy phase, we are going to look at 4 sub-decisional elements. 1. Defining the digital strategy. 2. Developing the customer strategy. 3. Having an understanding of your digital marketing mix. And finally, implementing the strategy that we have developed. Let us look at each one of these sub-decisional stages of the strategy phase. The first, how one can define digital strategy. Students, you have to understand that when it comes to definition of digital strategy, there is no one size that will fit everybody. Every firm has to understand what it means by going digital. What is the scope and spectrum of activities that it wants to use by making use of or by applying digital platforms. What has probably worked or what is working for one firm may or may not work equally well for other firms because of their differences in objectives, scope, size, and many other aspects, including competitor intensity. The 2 widely used strategical framework that one can use as a starting point is SWOT, which is strength, weakness, opportunity and threat. The firm has to do a SWOT to understand its strengths, core competencies, weak areas, opportunities that lie ahead and can be used and addressed given the way the macro environmental forces change, and threats are some of those aspects which possibly provide a threat to the firms or can pose a difficulty for the firms in future. Another model that you probably would have learned in some other courses on strategy relates to Porter's 5 forces. An analysis of Porter's 5 forces like the strength of the suppliers, competitors, new entrants, existing products, can also help you to understand how you can develop a digital marketing strategy which would help you in competing in the best possible manner or to combat competition that your organization is currently facing, along with tapping or capitalizing on your core competencies. Whatever framework you use, or a combination of these two aspects that you probably use to define your digital strategy for future, one has to keep in mind the very strong digital foundation that you have to develop by knowing practically everything. Now, when I say you have to know everything, what all needs to be known? One, know your business. In what terms you have to understand and know your business inside out? By understanding and knowing the state of readiness of your business, the extent to which your offerings are suitable or unsuitable to online promotions, the right mix of technology, skill set that is required, infrastructure that you need to have in place in order to really adopt digital marketing, your fit, the overall balance, symmetry that you are able to bring in by adopting or applying digital marketing frameworks to your existing business processes. So everything about business has to be known. Second, you have to know your competitors, you have to know the competition, the intensity of competition. Not only you have to understand the competitive landscape online, but also offline. Locally, what are the competing firms and the rival firms, but also globally. So, local as well as global understanding of the competition. What they are doing right that can be copied, or that can be, not exactly copied, but you have a way to learn from them. What they are doing wrong, and so it again provides you an insight into what should be avoided so that you don't land up making the similar mistake. What are they not doing at all, so that this is an opportunity for you. This is a gap that probably you can address through your marketing efforts. How can you differentiate your offering from their offering, both offline and online? And especially when you are talking about online offerings, what kind of digital strategy are they adopting, and to what extent you can make your strategy different from theirs? After knowing your own business, after knowing the competition, you also, students, have to understand and know your customers, because they are the ones for whom you are making all the effort. Who are your customers? What do they really expect from you? What do they want in terms of the offerings? Do you still need to service the same set of customers, or is there a need for you to look out for new demographics, new segments which seem to be very promisable, and probably you already want to tap some of these segments through your digital presence, but how can you do it in a more productive manner? It is only by knowing them better. And with your existing ones, how your knowing customers can help you in nurturing a better relationship with them. At the fourth level, students, you also need to know what you want to achieve, a very clear sense of purpose, a very clear sense of your objectives is what is going to help you to get most out of your digital marketing efforts. You have to set very clear, measurable, achievable goals as a part of your digital marketing strategy. Like, for example, are you looking at short-term online sales? Are you looking at some leads or lead generation? Are you looking at widening your base of customers? Are you looking at improving the brand awareness through your online communities and your online interactions? Are you able to provide a better brand conviction? And so on and so forth. What exactly you wish to achieve and accomplish through your digital marketing efforts? At the fifth level, you have to understand what are you doing and how you should do it in a better manner. Your digital marketing actually, students, is going to be very helpful because it is going to enable you and your firm to track everything which is going in a digital space. Not only that, digital marketing, because it is very much trackable, very much comparable, you can always share the notes and you can compare the notes to track the performance of a firm against any predefined goals, any predetermined standards that probably you have set for yourself, or against what we call as KPIs, key performance indicators. It is always good, it is always worthwhile for a business to know about not only the progress and performance of its own digital campaign, but also to know if certain ways, if certain channels, if certain methodologies can help you in garnering more traffic. It can help you in delivering and having better conversion rates, and how much of that increased traffic or increased business and conversion rates can really result in providing some tangible value to the business. So all in all, it boils down to the same thing. You have to know everything. Your customers, your own self, your way of doing business, your competitors, inside out, and then see how probably your definition of digital marketing strategy can help you in addressing all those things or dealing with all those information areas in a better manner. Now, when we talk about the digital strategy, the major impact elements, of course, is market, your customers, your competitors, and all in all, a bigger basket of stakeholders. Let us look at how each of these impact elements exert an influence on your digital marketing strategies and how they help you in shaping and formulating your digital strategy. The first element that has a considerable impact on your digital strategy formulation is stakeholder. You can craft your digital strategy based on your stakeholders, we can say on the basis of your stakeholder driven approach. What used to be in the traditional marketing setup, or which is even practiced today by firms that are into traditional marketing, revenues are based as targets. But if you compare it with your digital strategy, you have to make target to be your acquisition. Customer acquisition becomes your target. In comparison to traditional marketing, where the firm is always investment driven, you invest more, you gain more. Here, for your digital marketing campaigns, it is more funding driven. So you fund certain campaigns and then you track the performance of those campaigns. Your traditional marketing campaigns also have a low gestation period. They do not have a very longer period. They are short lived. They have a short time period for which you are making some tactical plans or you are making some strategic decisions. But in case of digital, all the strategic decisions have a long gestation period. Your plans have a long time period that is involved therein. The second impact element, student, you can again come up with your digital strategy on the basis of more market driven elements. Now, what is going to drive the market? In case of traditional marketing, it is the product. So, it is the product which is going to drive the market. But in case of digital, your processes are going to provide you an opportunity. So, it is a process based opportunity which is going to drive the market. You keep on bettering your processes so as to reap the benefits of the opportunities that lie ahead. In case of traditional marketeers, it is the industry sector growth that you look at. So the industry is growing and you become to the you go to the growth stage, and everybody is prospering. In case of digital, your growth is mapped by your customer segments. Are your segments growing? Are you interacting with them in the best possible manner? Are you able to build your customer communities? And so on and so forth. So, how you are growing in terms of your customer segments, both size, volume, and interaction, and the quality of the interaction. In case of your traditional marketing, you consider technology to be an input, whereas digital campaigns, technology becomes an output. This is what you are delivering in a digital space, and digital is allowing you to do things in a much better format, in much better manner. So, output that is being delivered itself is technology. The third impact element that is going to exert a lot of influence on your digital strategies. One is, you are going to talk about customer driven impact. In case of traditional, one used to talk about and still talks about innovation driven offerings, be it radical innovation, some good research is able to come up, helps you to come up with a product which is radically different and innovative product. Whereas in case of digital, you get an experience. It is a digital experience which is going to drive your offering. So, what is not different here is the product, but what is changing, how you are delivering a different thing, because your experience undergoes a change. It's a digital experience that you are going to get. Like for example, it is going to be a seamless integrated experience when you change the digital interface. So, you see something, you come back and check it on the company's website, you are going to download an app and you are going to place an order using your mobile phone and the app that you have downloaded on that. So, it is going to be a seamless digital experience for the consumer, which is going to make a difference. And that is what actually takes us to the second aspect, which is, in case of traditional marketing, it is always non-immersive. You are not involved, you are not into it. So, as a consumer, you are only a passive recipient. But in case of digital, you are highly involved, you are highly engaged into that experience which is seamlessly woven for you, which is created for you. In case of traditional, you are marketing to the customer segments. So, you follow all those principles of segmentation and the basis of segmentation to identify your segment groups and then target your best possible potential segment. But in case of digital, you are marketing to a socially interconnected group. So, people are interconnected. They join a particular group because of some commonality, the shared values, the shared cultures, and therefore you say you are marketing to a group which is where people are connected socially as well as digitally. Impact element 4. You can also make use of competition driven elements to devise your digital strategy. Now, these competition driven elements in your traditional marketing largely comprised of market share. How much market share are you enjoying vis-a-vis the rival firm, vis-a-vis the competitor? In case of digital marketing, you are not talking about the market share, but you are talking about access share. How much access you have to the market in comparison to your rival firm. So, obviously, when you make use of both offline and online, your accessibility improves. You are not just selling through a physical store, you are also selling through various digital platforms. That is going to improve your accessibility. In case of traditional marketing, your efforts and your marketing activities are capability driven, what you are capable of doing as an organization. But here you partner you partner with the other companies, you partner with your consumers who are highly involved and co-create something. So, whatever you do in a digital marketing scape is all partnership driven, where you partner with lot of people including customers. In case of traditional marketing, your offerings are utility driven. Most of the people buy things because they serve a utilitarian purpose. But here you are serving the digital consumers. You are also rolling out experiences. And because it is experience driven, obviously it is going to have more elements of service rather than utility that you find in case of goods. Coming to the second stage of your strategy. The first was how you define the digital strategy and what can help you in defining and developing your digital strategy. The second is customer development. When we talk about customer development, and because we are talking about customer development in digital marketing or as a part of your digital strategy, we are not looking at only segmentation, targeting and positioning like we had and we still have in our traditional marketing landscape. But we are looking at segmentation 2.0, targeting 2.0, positioning 2.0. When I'm talking about segmentation 2.0, I'm using lot of data analytics and I'm doing lot of data analysis through sophisticated tools and technologies in order to get or identify my segments. When I'm talking about targeting, I am targeting which particular segment group I should target, which particular segment group seems to be more profitable based on the development of user personas. So, I create user persona of different segments to target well. Unlike the targeting strategies of differentiation or undifferentiation or concentration which I use in case of traditional marketing. Again, for positioning in 2.0, that is in case of digital landscape, I am actually talking about how to position myself differently, how to have a positional differential advantage and how to deal with consumers and the interactions in real time settings. So, when I am talking about segmentation, let me tell you something more about it. The key differences. As I said, in case of traditional, what you usually do, we have always read about segmentation, targeting, positioning in marketing and the various bases, your demographics, geographic, behavioral segmentation, psychographic basis, which helps you to identify the presence of different heterogeneous groups, right, in the total market, and therefore your market is heterogeneous and you identify the groups based on the some commonality or pattern. What is going to be different here? In case of online segmentation, I am trying to relate to the kind of methodology that will be involved in segmentation process. So, the online segmentation is more about the kind of data that is available, the data that is collected and the manner in which the segments are developed, which are different from how we do it in case of traditional marketing. So, in digital marketing, it is not your demographic alone or your psychographic alone or your behavioral data which is going to help you in identifying segments, but also the data at each customer transaction level that can further be analyzed using sophisticated digital technologies so that you get more refined segments and actionable segments. So, firms can in the digital settings can make use of such defined micro segments to further understand which segments are going to be better suited to your offering, which tend to be more profitable, which tend to be more suited or are probable to respond to your marketing efforts if you target your efforts at them. All in all, no, as it was in the case of traditional marketing, so is true for digital marketing as well. Even your segmentation exercise, identification of segments and creation of the segments in case of digital marketing has to be based on certain principles or has to have certain prerequisites, like obviously the segment should be measurable. So even your digital segmentation exercise has to be measurable in terms of the size of the segment, in terms of the purchasing power of that particular digital segment or the characteristics of the segment that you should be able to measure. The segment, again, like in case of traditional marketing, they should be large and they should be profitable enough to serve. Okay, so when you do the cost and the benefit analysis, obviously the benefit or the profit that you think would arise from that particular segment should outweigh the cost that you would incur to serve that segment. The segment should also be accessible. You should be able to reach out to those segments and serve them effectively. Another thing, students, the segment should be clearly differentiable. Similar thing that you make use of in case of your traditional marketing. There is no point in looking at the segmentation exercise if those segments cannot be served any differently or they do not have any different needs. Similarly here, in case of digital marketing, your segments should be conceptually distinguishable. You should be able to distinguish one from the other, and you should also be able to respond differently to these different segments through your different marketing mixes. All in all, you need a actionable approach. If you can create more effective programs, you can formulate strategies for attracting and serving the segments in a action based manner. Coming to the second aspect of targeting 2.0, as I was mentioning earlier also, students, once the customer segments are created, earlier in traditional marketing, marketeers had very limited ways or means or options to choose from the segment mix, and even the media planning that was involved therein or the way you used to carry out your marketing activities based on traditional channels only allowed you to target some broad categories. So it was broad based classification of targeting. So I am going for an undifferentiated targeting strategy or a differentiated targeting or a concentrated targeting. On the other hand, when we talk about targeting in digital marketing, we are deploying the concept of creating user persona. What is a user persona? That is, I am going to define audience groups or audience clusters, and I am going to make use of more authoritative, more quantitative, more qualitative data that I am going to get from multiple online elements in order to create those user personas, and then I can decide which particular user persona groups I would like to target. So, this is what we have understood, students, and in the subsequent session, we will take the discussion forward by understanding more about positioning 2.0.